Great. So this one is going to be a three-card spread, and it's going to be a general reading. Now, I like to do general readings every time I have a reading session because, um, yes, it's great to have specific questions for spreads and then we can find out things we want to know. But I like to give our angels and our guides the opportunity to have their say. What do they need us to know? So this is what this reading will be. For this reading, I will be using the Enchanted Map Oracle cards. And as I mentioned, this is a three-card spread, but we have four cards on the table here because we did have a jumper. Um, Jumpers to me kind of represents additional information that our angels or guides just kind of wants us to know. So it's kind of when I shuffle, they just seem to fall out. I promise I'm not a clumsy shuffler. I come from a long, family of card playing people, so we shuffle cards pretty well, but the angels have their way, and then there's always sometimes one that jumps out. So for the three-card spread, the first one here is going to represent you now. Then we're going to have one that is what you need to embrace, and then the third one here is what you need to let go of. So before I get started with the reading, I just want to do a quick prayer. I call upon my angels and my guides to please be in contact and communication with the Quirance angels and guides. May you provide a clear and accurate reading. I also call upon Archangel Michael to please surround this reading in white light so that only divine messages may come through. Great, now that we're all ready to go, let's have a look at the first card, and this one is You Now. And for this one, we have the Wizard of Awareness in the reverse situation. So this one talks about kind of having too much force behind your desires that it robs you from the true and full experience. So it's kind of indicating that maybe you should step back and focus on gratitude for the ever-changing conditions of your life. Trust in the higher good. They know the path that you're gonna take, that you need to be on, and you're getting guided for that. You're getting so focused on what you're hoping to have that you're missing out on the journey. So it's kind of saying, back up a little bit. Enjoy what things are, like enjoy things as they are, even the good as much as the bad. Just take the time to fully enjoy the experience that you get to live. Next card, and this is what to embrace. And for this one, we have the goblins. So, goblins come into existence when you're wounded or something, and something essential is lost in that experience. From that point on, as you forget your wholeness, they remain with you in the shadows, the goblins. So they mimic your own voice, tricking you into believing that you're unworthy, victimized, or unlovable. They hold you hostage through low self-worth, self-sabotage, or feeling like you are lacking what you need. You must release resentment and negative self-talk. So you've had painful experiences, and those painful experiences have caused a wound, an emotional wound. And this is kind of what it's coming up about. Now, this is the card of what to embrace, and what they're embracing is you moving on past that. That's what they want you to kind of continue to move on past that wound that's been created. When you kind of go through experiences like that, mostly with the conversation we had, it creates doubt, and it kind of shrivels up our esteem of our self-esteem, and then we start hearing that in our self-talk, and that's something that they're kind of saying. Be very careful of how you talk to yourself in your head. If you have a mistake, something happens, do you tear yourself apart inside? And that sort of stuff, right? This is kind of where it's really important. It's not just in the action. It's just not in what you're doing. It's inside that it has the most impact on yourself. So if you ever do kind of catch yourself putting yourself down in your own mind, this is kind of what they're saying. You need to snap out of it, apologize to yourself, and tell each other, and tell yourself, I am so sorry, I love you. I read a saying somewhere, it's kind of like, Doesn't matter what your kid do, you love them all the time. We need to show that exact same love to ourselves as well. Make sure that you do ask spirits for support and help in in that situation. We all have control of our destiny, and we have control of ourselves. So if we block certain aspect of our lives, our spirits and our guides cannot step in unless we invite them in. So this card is saying, take a time to ask your spirits, ask your guides to support you and to help you in your releasing that self-sabotaging path that you've taken. Okay, next card, and this is what you need to let go of. And for this one, we have the Sad Embrace Reverse. In here, there's definitely a bit of a theme. The Sad Embrace Reverse talks about creating suffering over your suffering. It's kind of, do you feel like life is being unfair? Your suffering and loss will pass if you let them. So trials and tribulation builds character, which in its own is a gift. Find something to be grateful for and take responsibility for your part in all of matters. You are not a victim. And that's something that's kind of saying, taking ownership of how we're reacting to things, how we feel to certain circumstances, how we allowed it to affect us, empowers us, because we're taking that power away from other people or circumstances or situation that have wounded us, and we're taking that power away from that and we're putting it into our court. We had the power to react to a situation, and if we reacted poorly, then take ownership of that and kind of say, you know what, I did not take this situation like I should have. I've let this affect me more than I should have. Put the blame away from the others, put that back in your court so that you can regain the power, and that then stops you from being a victim. This is what they want you to let go of, because otherwise, if you're kind of leaving your suffering, it was created all because of others, and I understand that there are situations that had occurred, but you're giving them the power then. So you need to kind of take that back into yourself, so that you can empower yourself and you stop being the victim, because otherwise leaving it with them, kind of putting the blame over there, is creating more suffering on the suffering that you've had. And this is kind of what they want you to let go of. Change the way of thinking, change the way you're seeing things. Take ownership of every actions and experience that you've had. Take ownership of that so that you have the power of it, even if it was an unpleasant experience. Take ownership of it so that you can control it and that you can change it down the road. Now, your final card, and this was the jumper card that we had, and for this one we have Ghostlands. So Ghostlands talks about you can learn from the past and imagine a beautiful future, but you must live in the here and now. So things that haven't happened in the past, and that's great, that's built us, that's given us the tools so that we can be where we are now and be grateful for those experiences. Be grateful for the life having happened the way it did, because it builds us the way we need to. This is the experience that allows our soul to go through our life lessons, right? So that was a great thing that happened. Even though it was unpleasant, even though it caused us some suffering, it allowed our soul to grow, but that belongs back there. That needs to get taken out of your luggage. We're not carrying that anymore. And this is kind of what it's saying, right? Clear that off. You moving forward, that doesn't get to come. That has to stay back there. And it's, like I said, it's very much of a theme in your reading. But I think it's amazing. Like, take comfort in knowing that your angels and your guides are so surrounded with you and helping you in this matter. And they kind of helping you grow and become the person that they know you're supposed to be. So that's an amazing opportunity, and I'm glad that they stepped in and offered you this gift, and embrace it. But do make sure you ask and let them in and supporting you in your self-development and in your self-growth. Well, I hope that this reading resonated with you. Have a blessed day.